Hello everybody, it's the Warhipster here, coming at you with another Contrast Plus painting tutorial, and today we are painting a Changecaster, a Herald of Tzeentch. Yes, now this is a little bit confusing because the Changecaster is an optional build from the Fate Skimmer Herald of Tzeentch on Burning Chariot kit. So you can buy that kit, you can build a flaming chariot and this guy, or you can build a Fate Skimmer Herald of Tzeentch, or you can and a Exalted Flamer, and so on and so forth. I've built the Changecaster because, well, he's just really good in a demon's army, and, well, with all that out of the way, we're going to jump in and start painting him. He's been primed in Wraithbone, and the colour we're going to be using first is Sigvald Burgundy. And this is because generally the Heralds of Tzeentch they're still pink, but they're a much deeper pink, which brings us to Burgundy. So we're going to grab that Sigvald Burgundy on our brush and we're going to start painting this all over the top of our Herald's skin. Now I've also given him the weirdest head. Now we're not going to be painting this over the top of the head. We're going to be doing something else for that. But for now, we're just going to be painting this over the top of all of his arms and legs and chest and tentacles and all that good stuff. So with that done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Screamer Pink and Pink Horror. I'm going to apply this over the top of all of the kind of raised muscles and things like that, just avoiding where that Sigvald Burgundy has settled in the recesses. So for example, just here on this leg, we're going to paint it over the top of his muscle there. And then we're just going to leave that little bit where the Sigvald Burgundy is applying that lovely shading, and then we're just going to paint in over the top like that. So we're essentially just doing a full relayer. Just like this. So with that done, he's looking pretty awesome. Don't worry, we're not going to be doing any highlights or anything like that just yet. No, what we are going to be doing though is some blending, even better. So the colour we're going to be using is Shyish Purple, and we're going to be using this on the tail and the tentacles. We're going to be doing, as I say, a little bit of a blend out into this pink. And this is one of the reasons why we layered it up, is because Sigvald Burgundy is nice and dark, and we want it to be just a little bit brighter, so that when we add the Shyish Purple, it's not black, essentially. It'll still look very, very dark though. So what we're going to do is we're going to load up our brush with the Shyish Purple. We're going to pick a place to start. I'm going to start on this tentacle just here. And we're going to add the Shyish Purple towards the tip of the tentacle. Like that. We're going to wash the brush. And then we're just going to smooth out that transition. We get this blend from the pink into the purple like that. So we do the same thing again on the other side. Like that. Wash the brush and then smooth out the transition. Just like that. We want to do this on all of the tentacles. Now some of them are a little bit easier than others. We've got this one here, for example. It doesn't really matter if you get the blend right here. We mostly just want to get this Shyish Purple on there. Like that. And across that middle bit there. And then we just want to add a little bit of it towards the base of the tail. Wash the brush. And then smooth it out. Like that. So with that done, what we're now going to do is move on. I'm going to move on to the head. Now the colour we're going to be using first for this is Asurmen Blue. I'm going to be applying this over pretty much the entire head section. Other than the tongue, which as you can probably see, I've painted in with Shyish Purple, which I forgot to mention in the last clip, so apologies. I'm just going to avoid the teeth, however. So with that Asurmen Blue applied, what we're then going to do is we're going to take some Luxion Purple and, well, similarly to the tentacles, we're going to kind of do a little bit of blending on the head. So we want this to kind of stick towards the base of the head. So we're just going to start adding this like this. Kind of like that. Then we're going to wash the brush, and then we're going to smooth out those transitions just a little bit, so you get this blue to purple, very bluish purple transition going on. It's very nice there. Do the same thing on the other side. So with that done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some skeleton Horde. I'm going to use this over the top of the teeth. Like that. We're also going to use the skeleton Horde over the top of any book pages and parchment that your heralds might have. So with that now done, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Apothecary White. I'm going to apply this to the cloth. And with that Apothecary White applied, we're then going to take some Garaghak sewer. I'm going to use this to paint in the couple of bits of leather that we've got. So we've got some on this stack of papers. Like that. And we've also got the knife scabbard. So with that done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some thinned down iron hand steel and we're going to paint it over everything that's going to be metallic. But it's not all going to stay metallic, or at least silver. We're just going to do this so that we can basically identify all of our metallic details. So we're going to take that iron hand steel and we're just going to start painting it over the top of all of those areas. This is pretty much the entirety of the staff, excluding the flames, any of the jewellery, his belt. There's a whole lot of metallics. And so with that now done, what we're going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Retributor Armour and we're going to use this to essentially paint in all of the areas that we now want to be gold. So I'm going to do stuff like I'm going to do things like the kind of masthead, staff top. Excluding the eyeball. I'm going to do this kind of little area just here. An errant bit of detritus there. Now that sort of thing. I'm going to do around about half of the jewellery, so things like the bangles here, and we'll do this one here as well. So with that done, just before we add any of the shades to those metallics, what we're going to do is we're going to paint in both sets of flames, and that is these ones here and these ones down here. We're going to be using two colours for this. We're going to be using Frostheart and Asurmen Blue. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take that Frostheart on our brush and we're just going to layer this all over the top of the flame. Just like that. Then what we're going to do is wash the brush, grab a bit of Asurmen Blue whilst it's still wet, and towards the tip we're going to add this in to around about 3/4 of the flame, like that. Give us a nice subtle kind of blended blue flame. You can grab a little bit more Frostheart just to smooth out the transition between the two colours, and we're just going to do it just like that. And it's the same deal down here on the bottom. We're just going to layer on Frostheart over the entirety of the flames. like that. Wash the brush, and then we're going to add the Asurmen Blue, this time in reverse, to the other side, so towards the tip. So with that done, it's now time to add some shades to the model, and the first one we're going to add is Athonian Camoshade, and we're going to be using this along the length of the silver on the staff. Just like this. So with that done, we're then going to take some Guilliman Flesh, and we're going to use this to shade all of the gold. Now we could use Retributor Flesh shade here, but I want this to be a really, really deep gold. And we would have to do 2 layers of Retributor Flesh shade here to get it to the colour that I want it to be, so which is why we're doing Guilliman Flesh instead. And with that done, we're then going to use some Drakenhof Nightshade. I'm going to use this to shade all of the remaining silver details. So with that done, our Herald of Tzeentch is now what I would call a Warhipster battle ready. He's already looking pretty fantastic. However, we are now going to take him to the next level by adding some layers and some highlights. The first one is going to be some pink horror. On its own this time, no mixes. And what we're going to do is we're just going to use this to pick out the edges and the definition in all of the flesh. Just like this. And so with that pink horror applied all the way around, as you can see, what we're going to do now is we're going to take some Emperor's Children. I'm going to use this to just pick out the sharpest points, so areas like the knees, the knuckles, the toes, so with that done, the skin is now all finished. So what we're going to do is move on, and we're going to be taking some thinned down Corax White. I'm going to be using this to essentially re-layer our cloth, just avoiding where the Apothecary White has settled in the recesses. So with that now done, we should have these nice, beautiful, bright white robes. So what we're going to do now is move on, and we're going to take some thinned down Screaming Skull. I'm going to use this to highlight the parchment just around here. And we're also going to use this to highlight the teeth and the claws. So with that Screaming Skull applied, what we're then going to do is we're going to take some Lothern Blue. I'm going to use this to highlight the sharp points on the head. So with that done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some blue horror. I'm going to use this to pick out the sharpest corners on our head, like that. We're also going to use this to highlight the flames. And so with that done, just to blend those flames together, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Tyran Blue. And we're going to apply this over the top of the whole thing. So with that done, what we're now going to do is we're going to highlight all of our silver using some Stormhost Silver. So with that now done, what we're going to do is we're going to highlight all of our gold using some Liberator Gold. So with that done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some Yriel Yellow. I'm going to apply this over the top of any of the eyes that we have scattered around the model. So we've got some on the staff here, for example. We've got one back here. And we've got the tiny little eyeballs on the head. And so with that done, we then take a tiny amount of Black Legion and we're going to apply this as our little pupil going down the middle of each of these eyes. And so just to finish them off, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Asurmen Blue and we're going to apply this over the top of all of our remaining gems. So we've got a couple here on the staff, just like that. We've got these ones here. And so here we have it, our finished Changecaster is all done, and I really like this. I really enjoy the really stark highlights on all of the muscles. I've seen this style on a lot of Tzeentch miniatures by various different people. I can't think of any names off the top of my head, but it's just really effective on these guys, and I'm not sure why. I think it's really effective as well having that slightly darker pink, well, much darker pink than the pink horrors. It'll make the Changecaster stand out, and you could use this recipe on any Heralds of Tzeentch. If you enjoyed this video, you love the channel, and you want to support me further like these legends and bosses on the screen before you, you can do so. Head to patreon.com/warhipster or head to ko-fi.com/warhipster. Alternatively, you can now become a YouTube channel member by heading to the channel page and clicking on the join button just here, exactly like these awesome folks have done. And if you just want to shoot me a little thanks just because you really love this video, you can click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.